a beautiful day to be a pond man. I've come to visit a garden and do a little bit of work on a pond that I built 4 years ago. And I keep meaning to come back and do a ponds revisited. And the weather's never quite right, but today it's looking absolutely gorgeous, so I thought I'd get the camera out. This is a really good example of a very small pond. I called this video the frog pond. Not so many frogs in here, more newts than frogs, but the importance of a very small pond in a garden really can't be overemphasised. And even something as small and modest as this will attract lots of wildlife, can be planted up and be a lovely feature and a focal point in the garden. Now, one of the most important considerations when you're building and planting up a little pond like this is making sure that you include plants that are appropriate in scale. Not going to dwarf the pond, not going to grow too big, and not going to take over. Because very quickly you're fighting a losing battle where the pond will become very overgrown and will eventually dry up and just really become a bog garden rather than a pond. So here we've got two lovely dwarf irises, Iris insata at the back, the plain green one, and then this lovely little gem here, Insata variegata. These have got fantastic, great big mauve, sort of light purple blooms. Very appropriate for a small pond like this. A nice little water lily, probably Nymphea frobeli. Again, suitable for a small pond, not taking over, although there's perhaps a little bit more foliage in here now than we need, and this could do with being split and thinned back a little bit for next season. Lovely little white flower here of the water hawthorn, Aponogetum distachium. These are a great deep water marginal here with these arrow-shaped floating leaves. And where the lilies start to die back at this time of year, the water hawthorn comes into its own. It likes the cooler water. So in the autumn and winter months, that's when it starts to throw up its leaves and these lovely, lovely, heavily scented flowers. This lush carpet of growth here, one of my favourite plants. One of its common names, mind your own business, Solirolia solirolii is the Latin name, and this is a great plant to hide a multitude of sins. I love the way that it softens stonework, makes everything look very natural. So if you've got any little nooks and crannies around the pond and gaps between stonework, putting little plugs of this in will very quickly help to make a more natural appearance. And it's very easy to propagate from, literally pulling sections off and just plonking them in the gaps will allow it to take off and grow. Be wary, it can take over, but it's very easy to control, very easy to pull bits out. It will, however, if the conditions are right, start to take off in the border as well, and if your pond is surrounded by lawn, it will start to grow in the lawn. So if you don't like that sort of thing, be wary. When I was building this pond, all of the stonework was put together using Aquatic expanding foam. It's a very easy product to use, and if time is short or budget doesn't permit using mortar, then the use of the expanding foam for smaller jobs, because actually it can end up being more expensive on bigger ponds, but for smaller jobs it can work out very well. And it's done a great job of bonding and holding all of this stonework together very well. I'll include a description of the original pond build if you wanted to watch that. And the little sound of water, even in a small pond, the quintessential part of a pond, I think, is very important. Very nice. Right, I think I'm going to pack up and call it a day. Quick video today. I'm Ed from Crystal Clear Aquatics. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next pond. Oh, I can't do it with you watching me.